Outdoor Comic Con 2014. We are brought to you by Marvel Contest of Champions from Kabam. We've been with you guys all day, and we're going to keep going. My name is Ben Morris. I am the editor of Marvel.com.
I am Blake Garris, and we have the pleasure of being joined by Steve Wilkos. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I just found out from you, NBC has had a booth here for 5 years.
Yeah, ever since we moved out here, we've been coming to Comic-Con every year. Stanford Media Center puts a booth out, and usually Jerry or myself or whatever talent, I've come every year. So and I bring my children with me.
I was going to say, you got a whole crew here.
So we have a good time, and they get excited coming down with me, and we have a lot of fun.
What do you enjoy about the cons? What's the most
Well,
fun
first of all, when I was a kid, I was a huge comic book guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, and I wish I had all my old comics.
We get that a lot.
Yeah,
we get that a lot.
I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
But I really do. I had a great collection because I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s. So
yeah, that's when things were happening.
Yeah, things, was that the Bronze, Silver Age? I don't even know. But so for me to come here, and I usually when I get done, I walk around a little bit, and my kids get a big kick out of seeing everybody dressed up and all different characters. So it's just, I mean, and it is truly amazing when you come here and you see it growing every year, and there's just tons and tons of people, and everybody's really having a great time. So it's a great event.
Is there ever a temptation to go and try to see if you can track down some of those old issues you used to have?
Well, I look at some of the comics, and just like baseball cards that I was also into, the graded editions of the comics. And I remember seeing some ones that I had, and they were like rated really high, and they were like $30,000.
Oh my gosh.
Devastating.
Holy, and then obviously I don't think just like my baseball cards, I used to keep a rubber
they weren't
band
in
around.
good shape.
I don't know if mine were in good condition, but I'd still like to have them,
Yeah, just to have.
And I don't even know what I did with them, so that's the worst part about it.
So you get to walk the floor at these cons?
I used to do it more than I do it now, because now it's a little harder to walk through. But it's neat, like you said, because it does go back nostalgia. For me to see the comics that I had, and it's a fun atmosphere. It's sometimes when you go to a sporting event where people are a little rowdy and they're saying some not nice things to the ball players on the field. You come here and everybody really is just having a great time.
Yeah, it's a community.
So, it's everybody's getting along really well.
So you're here to promote your show, the Steve Wilkos Show. Tell us a little about what's going on the show and what people should tune in for.
Well, we're very happy with the success of the show because I always say when I got spun off Jerry Springer, people laughed and said, "Oh, Jerry Springer's Bodyguard, there's no way his show is going to last." And now over 1,000 episodes later, and we're in our 8th season. Wow. And I believe the show is signed out through 11 seasons now.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to be on until 2018 and hopefully longer. But,
to
have that kind of run in TV is very hard. Bigger names than me in the last couple of years that have came out, big stars, Jeff Probst, Ricky Lake, and Katie Couric, all get canceled, and I'm still rolling. So we're proud of that. And, I think the appeal of my show is we cover topics that a lot of people don't. Domestic violence and abuse and things of that nature. And it's funny because some people do say to me, "Oh, you're like a superhero," and it's flattering. It's not true, but I was a police officer. I was a Marine, so I think people feel like maybe I could protect them, or they relate to somebody like that. So, and that's like I said, our show's much different than any other show out there. We're not talking to celebrities. We're not talking about the new film that's coming out. We're dealing with issues that a lot of people at home are dealing with in their own lives, and I think that's the relatability of the show.
That's amazing, and thanks for doing that. That's really great.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask too, when fans come up to you at this con, any specific thing they talk to you about?
People always. What's nice, and you're going to have Jerry on later. And the thing with Jerry, and I love being on the show, but it was always, where do you find these people? What trailer park did they get from? And to be quite honest, that gets old after a while.
Yeah.
With my show, I get, I really love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud. So when you hear that, and people say, how many women have come up to me and said, "You know what? You got me out of a really violent domestic situation.
Yeah.
I finally realized I need to get out of there." And that's the best.
Yeah.
When you get something like that and you say, like, "Oh my God, you had an impact on somebody's life for the positive," that's a really good feeling, and that's why I became a police officer, because you wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And with this show, you're helping people. So, I mean, how good of a feeling is that when you know that you're making an impact on somebody you didn't even meet?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody just watching at home and they watched the show and they said, you know what, I gotta be like these people and get out of this, and so that's a really good feeling.
We got a bunch of people writing in tweets. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but I want to get this one. It's Ginny Balfour wants to know, Steve, who is your favorite Marvel character and why?
My Marvel favorite character is Captain America.
Okay.
And obviously because his name was Steve, and when I was a kid, there wasn't
it's that easy sometimes.
But I just loved what he represented. My dad was a Korean War veteran and very patriotic. I served in the Marines myself, so I identify with Captain America. And,
cool.
Yeah.
You have a lot of Captain America comics when you were younger? Those some of the
did.
ones that got lost?
I did have a lot of Captain America.
How much those are probably worth right now?
Oh, jeez. Although early Fantastic Fours I had, I was a big Spider-Man guy, obviously. I mean, so
you the good stuff.
I had Marvel, the Avengers, and so.
So, if you're growing up in the 60s and getting the Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, that's the good stuff.
And, you remember, things got passed down, too. So even though I was growing up in the 60s, I had people that were older that were giving me their stuff.
Oh, that's right.
So, I had some really cool stuff.
Man. All right, well, hopefully this experience didn't depress you too much thinking about all that. But before we let you go, where can people find you online and how can they watch the show?
I think they can just go to stevewilkos.com, and from there they can find us on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. And here in the New York area, we're on WPIX Channel 11 every day, Monday through Friday, at 3 o'clock and again at 4. So it's a double run, and I hope people watch.
Well, very much. Guys, we encourage you to watch the show. It's doing some important stuff, and it's a great thing to watch. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me. It's really fun. Thank you.
Guys, we will be back in just a second, watch some of our pre-tape stuff, but until then, this is Marvel, Your Universe, and we are Marvel Live from New York Comic Con 2014.